Hi guys, I just wanted to share some thoughts. I'm just finished with a 2-day training I was doing with a bunch of other people in what's called active listening. And it's interesting because we were all kind of talking about how to communicate in a way that takes into account the other person and resists putting too much subjective bias into the picture, seeking to convey benevolence and neutral understanding, and more ultimately what's a more productive exchange that you and your interlocutor can both grow from. I was the only guy in the training, which was really interesting because it does suggest to me that it looks really as if men, when it comes to having training about emotions and feelings, can still be a little resistant, and that's one thing. Perhaps as an INFJ man, I'm a bit more in touch because INFJ men tend to be a little bit more feminine and have more feminine sides in them a lot of the time, even though it has to be said that I think ultimately the INFJ man is much more likely to embrace the position of the father in therapy, for example. If you ever become a psychotherapist and you are a man, you're more likely to embrace the position of the father. If you're an INFJ woman, I think it's a bit mixed. Sometimes even an INFJ woman can take the position of the father, sometimes of the mother. These are a little stereotypical, but they're very useful terms to understand different kinds of postures that the analyst or the therapist can take. For example, it's known that Freud and Jung were very fatherly, whereas you had other analysts like Melanie Klein and some male analysts, as well, like Ferenczi, for example, who were more motherly. And a more motherly approach is more about being with, compassion, being there to listen, to just listen, and being in the emotive tone of the other person or the patient. The more fatherly approach is a bit more distant, a bit more cool, and more focused on providing analysis. Both can be really defined by caring, but one is going to be more, again, in tune with emotion, and the other one is going to be more in tune with understanding. Okay, and that's not even what I wanted to talk about in this video. I just wanted to share the thought that the INFJ stare, sometimes people will try to see if they have an INFJ or an NI stare, because that's the more accurate way to put it, by looking at themselves or taking photos of themselves and trying to show themselves or the people that they do have some kind of NI stare or NI gaze. But usually the feedback of other people, particularly people that don't necessarily know you very well, they just met you for the first time, such as when you attend a training with them, sometimes that's the best input you can get. And at the very end of the training session, the 2-day training session, people were sharing thoughts and also impressions of each other, and in all openness and compassion and safety. That was very much the principle of this training. One of the ladies said that she had been very interested in my insights and the fact that I was a good listener and that I created an environment where I provided some containment. So that was very heartening to hear, particularly as I happen to be also training as a therapist. But she said that what was destabilizing about me, that she had to get used to, was my eyes. That they were basically very intense and very piercing, and that it could be difficult to maintain focus as she felt that she was being seen through, and she couldn't help but observe that I was doing that with other people as well. So here we're not talking about any particular kind of graphic image of a pair of eyes. We're talking about a position. We're talking about a way that you're looking at people when you are engaging with them. She said, my eyes and my look convey a sense of intense focus and thoughtfulness, but so intense that some people might be uncomfortable with it. So I wanted to share that, and if you would like to share some experiences that sound like it, by all means do that. Don't forget to have a Patreon page, guys, if you'd like to support my work on Patreon. The link is available below. You get access to some cool perks like Discord. You can join me on Discord and the community. It's a really good community. I'm there pretty much every day. So you also get bonus videos every 2 weeks where I go more in depth about particular topics, about INFJs and other things, either from mainstream YouTube or my books, There's a nice library that's adding up now, so the link is below. You help my work. And don't forget, I have written 2 books on the INFJ, the Ecstatic Soul, which is my first book on the INFJ, which is the investigation of the INFJ mind, and the Infinite Soul, which is more about INFJ life in the world and how to be authentic and adaptable, which are the 2 key aspects of INFJ growth and flourishing in the world. The books are linked below if you want to explore them more, check the reviews, and it really helps me as well in keeping the channel going, both the Patreon and the books. Thank you for your support, and I'll talk to you next time, guys. Bye-bye.